The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment and Living in the Present Moment. The book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle focuses on one central idea: the present moment is the most real thing we truly have. Living in the past often leads to regret, while worrying about the future creates fear, anxiety, and stress. Key ideas. 1. Be present, live in the present moment. The greatest gift you can give yourself is to live in the present moment. 2. Silence your mind, quiet your mind. Overthinking can create unhappiness. Learn to observe your thoughts without becoming controlled or consumed by them. 3. Ego is the past, the ego lives through the past. The ego often uses the past to define who I am and uses the future to create worry and anxiety. Do not define yourself by your past or your imagined future. Accept what is happening. Resisting what is happening can create suffering. Acceptance does not mean that you cannot change anything. It means that you first stop fighting against reality and acknowledge what is happening in the present. 5. Watch your thoughts and observe your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that can observe those thoughts. 6. Find peace within, find inner peace. True peace does not always depend on changing the outside world. It begins with awareness and acceptance of the present moment. 7. Life is now, life is happening now. The past has already happened, and the future has not yet arrived. What we truly have is the present moment. The most important message: realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. Eckhart Tolle. The essence of the power of now is simple. Stop living in the past. Stop losing yourself in worries about the future. Learn to live fully and consciously in the present moment. The central message. The power of now teaches that much of our emotional suffering comes from living in the past or the future, rather than experiencing the present moment. We cannot change yesterday, and tomorrow has not happened yet. The only moment we can actually live is now. The core idea. Realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. Being present does not mean ignoring your responsibilities or forgetting the future. It means not allowing thoughts about the past or future to control your experience of this moment. When you become aware of your thoughts instead of automatically believing and following them, you create a space between you and your mind. In that space, there can be greater peace, awareness, and clarity. 1. Be present. The greatest gift you can give yourself is to live in the now. The past cannot be changed, and the future has not yet arrived. The only moment you truly have is this present moment. When your mind constantly thinks about past mistakes, regrets, or painful memories, you create unnecessary suffering. When you constantly worry about what might happen tomorrow, you create anxiety about something that does not yet exist. Being present means bringing your attention back to what is happening right now: your breath, your surroundings, your thoughts, your feelings, and the activity in front of you. Instead of eating while thinking about work, eat and experience the food. Instead of talking to someone while checking your phone, listen completely. Instead of constantly worrying about tomorrow, focus on what you can do today. The present moment is where life actually happens. Key lesson? Your life is not happening yesterday. Your life is not happening tomorrow. Your life is happening right now. Stop living in yesterday or tomorrow. Come back to now. This moment is your life. 2. Silence your mind. Too much thinking creates unhappiness. Observe your thoughts, don't become them. One of the central lessons of the power of now is that you are not your thoughts. The human mind is constantly producing thoughts, memories, worries, judgments, plans, fears, and imaginary conversations. Thinking itself is not the problem. The problem begins when we become completely identified with our thoughts and believe that every thought represents reality. For example, your mind may say, "What if I fail? They don't respect me. I should have done things differently. Something bad might happen." If you automatically believe these thoughts, they can create fear, anger, regret, or anxiety. Instead, practice observing your thoughts without immediately reacting to them. Imagine sitting beside a river and watching leaves float past. Your thoughts are like those leaves. You don't need to chase them, fight them, or hold onto them. Simply notice them and let them pass. How to practice? When a troubling thought appears, don't say, "I am worried." Instead, notice. There is a thought of worry. That small shift creates distance between you and the thought. Take a slow breath. Notice your body. Listen to the sounds around you. Bring your attention back to the present moment. You don't have to stop every thought. The goal is to become aware of thinking rather than being controlled by it. The deeper lesson. A quiet mind does not mean having absolutely no thoughts. It means not being trapped by your thoughts. When you stop fighting with your mind and simply observe it, thoughts gradually lose some of their power over you. You begin to experience a deeper sense of presence, clarity, and peace. Key lesson? You have thoughts, but you are not your thoughts. Observe the mind without becoming the mind. 3. Ego is the past. The ego lives in the past and worries about the future. Don't identify with it. The ego lives in the past and worries about the future. Don't identify with it. In The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle explains that the ego is the mental image we create about who we think we are. It is built from our memories, experiences, achievements, failures, possessions, relationships, opinions, and the stories we tell ourselves about our lives. The ego constantly looks backward or forward. It may say, "This happened to me, so this is who I am. I was successful before, so I must prove myself again. They treated me badly, and I will never forget it. What will people think of me? What if I lose what I have?" The ego needs the past to create an identity and the future to maintain its worries, expectations, and desires. Don't confuse yourself with your story. Your past is part of your experience, but it is not the entirety of who you are. You may have made mistakes, experienced failure, lost relationships, or gone through difficult situations. But you don't have to continually carry those experiences as your identity. Instead of saying, "I am a failure," recognize, "I experienced failure." There is a big difference. The first statement turns an experience into an identity. The second simply acknowledges what happened. Let go of the need to prove yourself. The ego often wants recognition, approval, control, and importance. It asks, "How do I look to other people? Am I better than them? Why didn't they appreciate me? What can I achieve so people will respect me?" When your sense of self depends on these things, your inner peace becomes dependent on circumstances you cannot fully control. Instead, learn to observe the ego when it appears. Notice the desire to be praised. Notice the need to be right. Notice the anger when someone criticizes you. Notice the fear of losing status or possessions. Awareness itself creates freedom. Live beyond the ego. You don't need to destroy your personality or stop having goals. The lesson is to stop completely identifying with the mental story of me. You are more than your past experiences, achievements, possessions, opinions, and social identity. When you return to the present moment, the ego has less material to feed on. Key lesson. Your past is something you experienced, not something you must remain trapped inside. Observe the ego, understand it, and return to the present. The past can explain your story, but it does not have to define your identity. Accept what is. Resistance to what is creates suffering. Acceptance brings peace. One of the most powerful lessons in the power of now is learning to accept the present moment exactly as it is. Many people suffer not only because of what happens, but because they mentally fight against what has already happened. We think, "This shouldn't be happening. Why did this happen to me? Things must be different. I can't accept this situation." But reality has already happened. Fighting against the fact that something is happening does not change it, it often creates additional emotional suffering. Acceptance is not giving up. Acceptance does not mean that you approve of everything or stop trying to improve your life. It means first acknowledging, this is what is happening right now. Once you accept reality, you can decide what to do next with a clearer mind. For example, if you lose your job, resistance might sound like, this is unfair. My life is ruined. This shouldn't have happened. Acceptance sounds like, I have lost my job. This is my current situation. What can I do now? The second response does not mean you like what happened. It means you stop wasting energy fighting reality and start using that energy to respond wisely. Accept the present moment. When something unpleasant happens, pause before reacting. Ask yourself, can I accept this moment exactly as it is? Take a breath. Notice what is happening inside you. Allow the feelings to exist without immediately trying to escape them. You may discover that the situation itself is difficult, but the additional mental resistance, I don't want this, is creating even more suffering. Acceptance creates freedom. When you stop arguing with reality, your mind becomes quieter. From that peaceful state, you can think more clearly, make better decisions, respond instead of reacting, focus on what you can control. Let go of unnecessary frustration. Find peace even during difficult circumstances. First accept what is. Then choose what to do. Key lesson. You don't have to like everything that happens. But when you accept reality as it is, you stop fighting the present and become free to respond wisely. Acceptance is not weakness. It is the beginning of inner peace and conscious action. 5. Watch your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. One of the deepest teachings in the power of now is that you are not the stream of thoughts constantly moving through your mind. Thoughts come and go. Some are positive, some negative. Some are useful, while others are simply memories, fears, judgments, or imagined scenarios. The important question is, who is noticing these thoughts? If you can observe a thought, then you cannot be completely identical to that thought. There is an awareness within you that notices the thinking mind. Become the observer. Imagine your mind is like the sky and your thoughts are like clouds. A cloud appears, moves across the sky, and eventually disappears. The sky does not need to chase it or push it away. Your thoughts are similar. A thought may arise. I'm not good enough. What if I fail? They don't appreciate me. I should have done something differently. Instead of immediately believing the thought, simply notice, I am having this thought. Then observe it without judgment. You don't have to fight it. You don't have to follow it. You don't have to make it your identity. Just watch it come and go. Awareness creates distance. When you become aware of your thoughts, you create a small space between the thought and your reaction. For example, thought, someone insulted me. Automatic reaction, anger and retaliation. Awareness, I notice anger arising in me. That moment of awareness gives you a choice. You can pause. You can breathe. You can understand the emotion. You can choose how to respond. This is the beginning of freedom from unconscious reactions. Practice watching your mind. Take a few minutes each day. And sit quietly. Don't try to force your mind to become empty. Instead, simply observe. There is a thought. There is another thought. Now there is silence. Now another thought has appeared. Keep watching. Over time, you may begin to recognize that thoughts are something you experience, not something you are. The deeper lesson. Your mind is a powerful tool, but it does not have to be your master. You can use your thoughts without allowing them to control your emotions and behavior. The more you become aware of the thinking mind, the more you experience the quiet presence underneath it. Key lesson. You are not the voice in your head. You are the awareness that hears it. Watch your thoughts. Don't become them. Observe them, let them pass, and return to the present moment. 6. Find peace within. True peace comes when you realize there is no problem in the present moment. One of the central ideas in The Power of Now is that inner peace is found in the present moment, not in changing everything around you. The mind often creates problems by constantly projecting itself into the past or future. It may say, "What if something goes wrong tomorrow? I should have done things differently. What will happen next? How am I going to solve everything?" But if you pause and look carefully at this exact moment, you may discover something important. Right now, there may be no immediate problem. There may be challenges that need to be addressed, but the mental story about those challenges can create additional suffering. The present moment is simple. Imagine you are sitting quietly and breathing. At this exact moment, you are breathing. You are alive. You are here. The mind may suddenly begin creating stories about yesterday or tomorrow. But those stories are happening in your thoughts, not necessarily in the present reality. This doesn't mean ignoring genuine responsibilities. It means separating the actual situation from the mental problem created around the situation. Ask yourself, when you feel stressed, stop for a moment and ask, what is actually wrong right now? Not, what might go wrong? What happened yesterday? What could happen tomorrow? Simply, what is happening in this moment? Often, you will discover that the present moment itself is much simpler than the story your mind has created. Peace does not mean no problems. Life will always contain challenges, work, money, relationships, health, responsibilities, and uncertainty. The teaching is not that problems disappear. Rather, you don't have to mentally suffer through problems before they actually happen. Deal with the problem when action is needed. When there is nothing to solve in this moment, return to the moment itself. Seedling from worry to presence. Instead of, how will I solve everything? Try, what is the next thing I can do? Instead of worrying about the entire future, focus on the next present action. Peace grows when you stop fighting imaginary battles and return your attention to what is real right now. Key lesson: the present moment is often more peaceful than the story your mind tells about it. When there is nothing that needs to be solved right now, allow yourself to simply be here. Breathe. Observe. Accept. Peace is not something you have to find somewhere else. It is already available when you become fully present. 7. Life is now. The present moment is all you ever have. Make it your priority. One of the most important teachings in The Power of Now is that life only ever happens in the present moment. The past exists as memory. The future exists as imagination and possibility. But the present is where you actually live. Yet the human mind often misses the moment that is actually happening. We may spend our days thinking, when I achieve my goal, I'll finally be happy. When I have more money, I'll enjoy life. When things get better, I'll relax. I wish I could go back and change the past. While waiting for life to become better, we can forget that life is already happening right now. Don't postpone your life. Many people treat the present as a temporary waiting room. They are waiting for more money, a better job, a perfect relationship, more success, a better future. But when the desired future finally arrives, the mind often creates another destination. I'll be happy when. This can continue forever. The practice of presence teaches us to appreciate the journey rather than constantly postponing our happiness. Make now your priority. Being present does not mean abandoning your goals. You can plan for the future while still living in the present. Work on your goals, but be fully engaged in the work you are doing now. Talk to your family, but actually listen to them. Eat your meal, but experience the food. Walk outside, but notice your surroundings. When you work, work. When you rest, rest. When you listen, listen. Give the present moment your full attention. The power of one moment. You don't need to control your entire life today. You only need to be fully present with this moment. Then the next moment. Then the next. Your entire life is ultimately made up of these individual moments. If you constantly escape into the past or future, you miss the only place where life can actually be experienced. Seedling a simple practice. Whenever you notice yourself worrying about the future or replaying the past, gently ask, where is my attention right now? Then bring it back to your breath, your body, your surroundings, the person in front of you, the task you are doing. Come back to now. Key lesson. The present moment is not a step toward life. The present moment is life. Don't constantly postpone happiness until tomorrow. Be here. Be aware. Be alive. Life is happening now. Make this moment your priority. Realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. Eckhart Tolle. Meaning. We often divide our attention between the past and the future. The past is already gone. We can learn from it, but we cannot return to it. The future has not arrived. We can prepare for it, but we cannot live it yet. The only moment we can actually experience is now. So instead of constantly thinking, I wish I had, or I will be happy when, bring your attention back to what is happening right now. Feel your breath. Notice your surroundings. Listen carefully. Experience the person or activity in front of you. The deeper lesson. The mind often makes us believe that happiness is somewhere in the future. When I become successful, I'll be happy. When I have more money, I'll be peaceful. When my problems disappear, I'll enjoy life. But life is never lived in the future. When the future arrives, it becomes another present moment. Therefore, learning to be present is not about waiting for life to begin. Life has already begun. It is happening now. Key takeaway. Yesterday is a memory. Tomorrow is a possibility. Today, this moment, is your life. Stop postponing your life. Come back to now.